Today's lesson is Introduction to Rounding. Our learning target today is I can round numbers to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100, and you'll know you're successful today when you can use a number line to find the closest 10 or 100. Graders, today we're going to be working with rounding, and with rounding I'm going to show you a number line strategy where we are going to see if a number is closer to one number or the other. And by doing that, we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10, and I'll be also showing you how to round to the nearest 100. So let's learn how to round today. Rounding to the nearest 10. So I have the number 43, and I'm going to be rounding to the nearest 10 for this strategy. So by doing that, I have a number line, and on this number line at the end, the first end, I'm going to have 40, and then on the last end, I am going to have 50, okay? Because 40 and 50 are those tens. So if I ask myself, oh, 43, it's between 40 and 50. So I am going to also just label on my number line the number 45 because that's kind of our midway point. It's halfway to 50. So right now I am going to mark where 43 would be on my number line. And this would be like 41, 42, 43, 44. That's just my rough estimate of where that would go. And that's where I will mark 43. So I'm going to ask myself, is 43 closer to 40? Or is it closer to 50? Well, if I look back, I can see that it's really close to 40, right? It's only 3 away. And if I looked at the 50, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. Yikes. Instead of being only 3 away. So if I were to round 43 to the nearest 10, it would be 4. Now I have the number 76, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to round it to the nearest 10. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, what is going to go on both sides of that number line? I'm wondering, let's see, the 10 in this number is a 70. And what's the next 10 after that? An 80. Good job. So I am going to just do my little halfway point. What's in between 70 and 80? I'm wondering. Oh, it's 75. Yep, good. And I am going to do what next? I'm going to look at the number 76 and I'm going to label that on my number line. So let's label that. 75 is in the middle. 76 comes right after that. And then if I just mark the rest, 77, 78, 79, there's 80. And then we have 71, 72, 73, 74. Okay, that's going to make my next job a lot easier because with that next job, I'm going to see, is that number 76 closer to 80 or is it closer to 70? Well, 70, it's 6 away, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 80 is only 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Ooh. So 6 or 4 away. And obviously when I look at the number, it is closer to the end with 80. So we would round 76 to 80 this time. Rounding to the nearest 100. This time I'm going to round to the nearest 100, and by doing that I make a number line just like I did when I rounded to the nearest 10. And I'm going to have 2 numbers on both sides just like before, but this time I'm going to ask myself not what 10 comes at the beginning and at the end, but what the 100 is. So remember, in this number, the hundreds is a 100. So that needs to go at the beginning. And then what would be the next 100 if I went up? It would be 200. So what would be in the middle of 100 and 200? What is in between? You would be right if you said that there's a 5 in that number somewhere. Kind of like when we rounded to the nearest 10, right? I had a 5 in my ones place. Well, this time I'm going to have a 5 in my tens place, which means 150 is in the middle. Now I'm going to label where 117 is. So I'm going to give it my best guess, okay, and kind of guess where 117 is. Well, I know it would be before 120, and I would say that might be where 120 is, and then 130 and 140, okay? And 117, I would guess, might be around right there, okay? So before that 120, because we know it should be before 150. Well, is 117 closer to 100 or 200? Oh, I hope that you would say it's closer to 100. You would be right. It's only 17 away from 100, but oh my goodness, look how far away it is from that 200. Not even close. It is much closer to that 100. Last problem. This would be a great place after I give you the problem for your teacher to either pause the video or for you at home or at school to pause the video and to see if you can figure out the next number to the nearest 100. So just to let you know, my number that you're going to do will be to round 154 to the nearest 100. So I want you to try that strategy by making a number line and see if you can figure that out. And then you can check your answer with mine when you're done. All right, let's see what you got for your answer. So for 154, rounded to the nearest 100, I should make my number line, and I'm going to label my number line. What came at the beginning of your number line? 100. And then what goes at the end? 200. Good job. What went into the middle? Ooh, remember that 5? But this time it's in the tens place, so 150 goes right in the middle, right in between 100 and 200. Good. So now it's time to label where 154 goes. And oh my goodness, 154, that's going to be really close to 150. But it should be a little bit after. So I'm going to mark that maybe like right there. And that's where 154 will go. So is 154 closer to 200 or is it closer to 100? Since it's past that 150, anything past that 150 is going to be closer to 200. So you should have rounded 154 to 200 when it's at the nearest 100. Nice job today. So remember, your learning target today is I can round numbers to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. And you'll know you're successful today when you can use a number line to find the closest 10 or 100.